Hello everyone. In today's video, we'll be studying manometers, which is one of those topics which students find really difficult to understand, and they always have this fear of manometers, I would say. And this video would be in English today, as many of the international students, they're asking me for English videos. So I'll be speaking very simple language so that all the students from India and across India can understand. In order to measure pressure, manometers are one of the equipments that are used. Now, pressure can be either higher than atmospheric pressure. If, for example, if this is the atmospheric pressure, you can either have a pressure higher than the atmospheric pressure, or sometimes, in some cases, pressure lower than the atmospheric pressure. It's a very simple example through which we'll understand how this happens. Suppose we have a box. In the box, normally air is filled and normally it has atmospheric pressure. Okay, now in first case, we pump in a lot of air into the box. So what would happen is increased amount of air in the same volume contained would lead to an increased pressure. So suppose RP atmospheric pressure was 10 units. Now that after pumping in air, suppose it has raised up to 15 units. So this extra 5 units of pressure that has been pumped in, which is higher than the atmospheric pressure, is known as the gauge pressure. Okay. In the other case, in the same box, suppose initially we have the normal air filled in, which is the P atmospheric pressure, that is 10 units. And then through some arrangement, I try to suck out the air from this box. In this case, when we suck out some air from this box, because of the loss in air, pressure falls down to 7 units. So this loss of 3 units, that is initially the pressure was 10 units. After removing the air, the pressure was 7 units. So this loss of 3 units is known as the vacuum pressure. Okay, so through very simple example, we have understood what is gauge and what is vacuum pressure. And in order to measure the gauge and vacuum pressure in different cases, we do have a lot of equipments available. Like we have the mechanical gauges, which has the Borden gauge, the YouTube gauge, and so many items. But the equipment that we are going to study today is the manometer. Generally, manometers are very sensitive equipments, and they are used to measure small pressures. So in examples of fluid mechanics or in fluid mechanics laboratory, where we have to calibrate venturi meters, orifice meters, and perform other similar experiments, manometers are more useful. Okay, so a very simple concept of manometer, I'll first explain you. Suppose we have a pipeline wherein some fluid is running into this pipeline. Okay, now if you simply insert a tube like this into this running pipeline, and you have this tube in this L shape. So because of the pressure and the velocity of the flowing fluid, fluid shall enter and rise up to a certain height in this tube. Okay. Similarly, if I have a pipeline and if I connect another tube here, and this tube is of some particular shape, and this shape contains little amount of some other fluid which is heavier than this flowing fluid. For example, fluid flowing inside this is water, and I have another tube with me wherein little amount of mercury is filled. This shaded portion represents mercury. Now everybody knows that mercury is heavier than water, doesn't really mix with water. And the specific gravity of mercury is 13.6. And of water is 1. So 13.6 heavier liquid, 13.6 times heavier liquid is filled in this tube. Now because of the pressure of water that enters into this tube, as soon as this tube is inserted inside this pipe, this mercury would try to rise up and it will be pushed up by the pressure of water. Now, more is the pressure of water, more rise in mercury level will be observed. So with the help of this particular height, rise, or the rise of mercury in the manometer or in this tube, we can determine, assess the pressure through some mathematical approaches. Similarly, we can also have oil in case in place of mercury for some special cases. Any immiscible fluid we can have, and then the rise or fall. In case of vacuum, we would have a fall if there is less than atmospheric pressure. Then in case of pressure inside the pipe, which is less than atmospheric pressure, if there is less than atmospheric pressure inside this pipe, this column would get sucked up because of loss in pressure. So in this case, we can just by observing the rise or fall of mercury in both the limbs of this tube, we can observe whether there is gauge or whether there is vacuum. Okay. In case of vacuum, it will get sucked up in this direction. Like this, it will go up. In case of gauge, increased pressure is there, so it will go in this direction. Okay. So based on this basic concept of manometers, we shall now discuss the types of manometers. Very quickly, I tell you the classification of manometers. So in case of manometers, we do have some simple types. Major classification of manometers is simple as well as differential. Now, whenever students come across such terms, they really get scared. They try to skip this topic, whereas this topic is one of the most easiest that you'll come across if you understand the way I'm explaining you. And if you try to solve the numericals the way I'll be explaining you in this upcoming video. So do watch this video till the end to know more about how manometers work and how to solve the manometers. Now, in case of simple manometers, the major concept is that only through a single pipeline pressure is measured. Okay, so if we simply insert a tube, we don't have mercury or any oil in the tube, we simply insert an L-shaped tube in a flowing pipe of any fluid, then that is a piezometer. That is the simplest example of manometer. In case of piezometer, we only observe the rise of fluid in the pipe. And then based on this rise, suppose this is a rise of height h, then in that case, we'll have pressure as rho gh. Okay, simply. That's the most simple case. Next, we have a U-tube manometer and a single column manometer. Okay, so just before this slide, what I explained you was a U-tube manometer. Okay, in case of a U-tube manometer, we generally go for mercury, and in a particular pipeline, we insert a tube which is of U shape, and in this U shape is contained a fluid that is heavier than mercury and heavier than water, like mercury, and then this fluid rises up or falls down as the case of gauge or vacuum pressure respectively is encountered. And similar, this is the simple case of U-tube manometer. Now we'll solve an example to understand how this U-tube manometer works. Now single column manometers are also one of the types of manometers. Suppose we have a reservoir like this. Okay, we have a reservoir here. So in order to measure this vast pressure of a reservoir, a different type of manometer is used, which is known as the single column manometer. So one end is inserted into the reservoir and the other end is kept open to atmosphere. So this other end or the other limb, this is completely filled with mercury, and depending on the pressure of the reservoir, the deflection of mercury is observed in the right limb. Now this can be either inclined or vertical. If the limb is inclined, if this limb is inclined, it is inclined single column manometer. Otherwise it is vertical single column manometer. Okay, and in case of differential manometer, now simple manometer are used for measuring pressures in single pipe or at a single place. But when we have simultaneously two pipes running at a particular distance, then the difference in pressure is to be measured in many of the cases. This difference in pressure is required in many of the real life cases of fluid mechanics. In that case, differential manometers are used. Okay, so what happens is there's a pipeline here, there's a pipeline here. Okay, so one end of the manometer is inserted in one pipeline, say A, another end is inserted in the another pipeline, say B, and like this the manometers are like this the manometer works. Differential manometer, now there's mercury filled in here. Now more the pressure in a pipeline, mercury would be pushed to the other side. Okay, and then how we would calculate the pressure, that I'll be explaining you in the upcoming numericals. Okay, so differential manometer also has two types. One is the U-tube differential manometer, and another one is the inverted U-tube manometer. So in this case, suppose these are the pipelines. So the inverted one would work like this. Okay, the inverted form of U-tube manometer is connected. In this case, we normally go for oil or liquids lighter than the liquids flowing in these pipes. So water is flowing, then we go for oil having specific gravity, generally less than water, because this is of inverted shape. Okay, so mercury won't work here, oil works here. Okay, so this is a simple concept. Now let us move over to some questions to understand how this works. So this is a question. As soon as you see only one pipeline, you just can conclude that this is a simple U-tube manometer. Okay, I have not written down the entire question. The question says that determine the absolute pressure of oil in the pipeline, and you have to take atmospheric pressure as 100 kilonewton per meter square. Now absolute pressure is to be worked out. We do have pressure excess than the atmospheric pressure. So the excess pressure we'll find out as the gauge pressure, and then we'll add the atmospheric pressure to find out the absolute pressure. So whenever such questions we encounter, first of all, you have to draw the figure. If the figure is not given in the question, just read out the whole question and draw the figure. Okay. Now in this case, the figure is given to us. The silver portion is the mercury and the blue portion is the oil or liquid of specific gravity 0.85. Mercury has a specific gravity of 13.6. Now, a very simple approach here is that first you have to identify your XX datum always in these type of questions. Now, I could have taken a datum here also, but in this case, my quantity that I have to find out, that is pressure at this point in the pipeline, say pressure at A, I wouldn't have been able to determine. So I'll be taking this datum so that conveniently my pressure at A is included in my analysis. Okay. So now, as soon as you identify the datum, you have to just equate the pressures on the left limb of the datum to the right limb of the datum. That is, you have to equate the pressure at this point to the pressure at this point. Okay. So let us calculate the pressure at left limb of the datum. When we speak of calculating pressures, then just try to have a look at what is filled above this particular point. So we here have this oil of height H1, a column H1 filled in here, and due to a particular height H1, the pressure is density of oil into G into H1. Rho GH is the pressure. So density of oil into G into H1, plus we have the pressure PA at this point. So this point pressure plus pressure due to this column of height H1 is my total pressure in the left limb of the manometer at datum X. So pressure A is to be found out, it is unknown. Density of oil has been given to me, the specific gravity has been given to me as 0.85. So simply multiply it by 1000. Whenever you get any specific gravity, multiply it by the density of water so that you get the density of that particular fluid and H1. So by this figure, simple geometry, we can see that this whole height is 160, out of which if you subtract 100, then you are left with 60 mm. Now, since this is in kilonewton and meter square, try to convert everything into meter. Okay, so 60 mm is nothing but 0.06 meter. 60 mm is nothing but 0.06 meter. This is my pressure in the left limb of the datum. Okay, this is my pressure in the left limb of the datum. Similarly, if I try to calculate pressure at the right limb of the datum, okay, sorry, G also have to multiply here, so 9.81 will be multiplied here. So rho GH and pressure at A. In the left limb, I have this limb has opened to the atmosphere and only 160 mm of mercury column is there in this limb. So in the right limb, the pressures that we have are density of mercury into G into this height 160 mm, which is 160 by 1000 meters. So density of mercury, we have specific gravity of mercury as 13.6, simply multiplied by 1000, G as 9.81, and this would be 0.16. So equate these two in this equation. So pressure at A plus 850 into 0.06 into 9.81, that would be equal to 13600 into 9.81 into 0.16. Solve this on a calculator and you should get the answer as 20.85 kilonewton per meter square. Now, since you have been asked the you have been asked the absolute pressure, this is only the pressure at point A. That is the gauge pressure, that is the pressure in excess of the atmosphere. So for absolute pressure, this extra pressure of 20.85 plus the atmospheric pressure of 100 would give you the absolute pressure, that is 120 kilonewton per meter square. Units are very important. And this is the value of absolute pressure at point A. This is how you solve this. Now, in some cases, you might not be given an answer or a figure. So let us try to understand how do you solve this. It is given that a U-tube differential manometer connects two pipes A and B. Pipe A contains XYZ fluid of specific gravity this and pressure this. Pipe B contains oil of this fluid under a pressure of this, and pipe A lies 2.5 meter above pipe B. So I'll make a simple figure here. This is where my pipe A is. It is connected with the U-tube differential manometer that has been already given to us. This is 2.5 meter above point B. So I'm just drawing this U-tube differential manometer. Okay, this is pipeline B. This is my pipeline A. Pipeline A has another fluid. Pipeline B has another fluid. Okay, and you have to find out the difference of pressure measured by mercury as the fluid filling U-tube in the U-tube. So I'll be filling mercury in here. So I've been given that the height difference is 2.5 in this case. So I'll just fill in the mercury. Okay, I'll take a darker color for everyone to understand. Like this. Like this, I have mercury filled into this U-tube manometer, and in pipe A, I have different fluid. In pipe B, I have different fluid. Okay, so let me mark this with different colors. In pipe A, I have different fluid of specific gravity 1.594. And in pipe B, I have another fluid of specific gravity 0.8, which is lighter than water, and this is heavier than water. Okay, both the pressures are given to me, and now I have to determine pressure difference between point A and B. So in this analysis, let me take my datum as this. Okay, this is the datum. First step is that you have to identify the datum XX. Now just equate pressure in the left limb to the pressure in the right limb. Now this height is not known. So I'll just take this as H. This height is not known to me. And in the left limb, I have in the left limb of datum or this manometer at point datum, I have my pressures as pressure at A, okay, which is given to me in the question, plus this column, the height between these is given to me as 2.5 meter between both the pipes. So rho, that is density, is 1.1594 into G into this height of 2.5 is my pressure in the left limb, and in the right limb, my pressure is pressure at B plus density of this liquid, that is 800 at B into G into this height H. Okay, so if I equate both of these, I'll be able to determine the difference in height difference in both the columns, and using this I'll be able to find out the difference of pressure measured for mercury. Okay, so basically I have to find out this height. So just equate this. PA value is given to you, PB value is given to you, substitute everything, and you should get the height as 0.326 meters. Okay, so that's it, everyone. Hope you have understood this topic. It's a very small topic. If you want more videos on this topic, do let me know. and I'll meet you soon in another video. Till then, practice manometers and enjoy life. Okay, thank you so much.